Hey guys, welcome to another week of updates on emerging tech in the enterprise. We've got 5 companies today that received funding in the last week, totaling $255.7 million. First company is O9 Solutions. I had never heard of these guys before today, but they're actually a pretty big sized tech company. They received $116 million in funding, which values them at $3.7 billion, which is quite substantial. So O9 Solutions appear to be in the supply chain planning, supply chain management space. If you look at their website here, they actually go into a fair bit. I mean, really looking at the ecosystem surrounding the supply chain tech arena, including revenue and the coordination of that, obviously analytics as well. Now, reading into them a little bit, it appears as though they are claiming to be the pioneers of using graph databases in supply chain planning. If you've ever seen or used graph databases before, like Neo4j or Amazon's Neptune, it's a database that's built on entities or nodes that are connected through a network, and it operates very differently to a relational database. Really good example of using this technology, I think, in supply chain planning. O9 seems to be leveraging this digital brain platform across their value proposition. There's no pricing or commercials available for this. It's a pretty comprehensive suite. I'd imagine there's a whole bunch of modules and a core platform type of scenario, but it's difficult to sort of understand that at face value here. Anyway, that's a huge round. I think this is an example of one of those companies that sort of had a vision and then the tech has caught up with it recently, because they're not the newest company. I think they were founded in like 2008. And so the tech's been catching up with them. They've been able to execute on that vision. And I think they're really going through that hockey stick sort of growth at the moment. So possibly, these are the types of companies that Oracle snaps up or IBM snaps up. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I mean, big valuation at the moment though. Next company is a company called Hammerspace with the tagline Data in Motion. Don't think they're the only company that's ever used Data in Motion as the tagline, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. Hammerspace's value proposition is around a global parallel file system. So what that means, I think, is you've got data centers, cloud deployments, on-premise environments around the world or across, many regions that have all different file systems and storage for this and that. And users are trying to access these areas of data or files, and they have to do that through different mechanisms all the time, and it becomes really complex and technical and complicated to do. Hammerspace claims to create a unification of that, where the users just have to access their platform and it sort of handles all the complexity under that. Looking at this, though, they've done their best to create some good marketing hype here. They've used this term called the next data cycle, and I thought, is this something that's coming that I'm not aware of? Like, I started researching into what the next data cycle is to figure out, in case someone asks me in a meeting, are you across the next data cycle? No, what's that? So I started anyway. These guys have made it up, which is a good marketing move. It sort of encourages you to go, well, what is this? I better understand what this is. And then you sort of jump into their research around what it is. So smart move. I certainly read up a bit about it. I think if you go through to this page here, watch this video, it explains exactly what they do pretty quickly. And I think it only goes for about 5 minutes. Hammerspace received $56.7 million in a Series A. Next one along is a company called Hightouch. They received $38 million in a funding round. Hightouch are a customer data platform. So if you think about all the areas and interactions with your customers or users as well, external users, with your business or your organization and all the apps and digital platforms that they engage with, or transacting or logging in or doing this or that, a lot of that data is stored in separate areas across the business or on the separate technology stacks. And it's really difficult to understand, is this user or this customer the same as that? Is that customer the same user as this? So this is a platform that helps you sort of bring that all together and create a unified view of that single user or customer. Now, Hightouch is similar to a company, if you've ever heard of Segment or if you had heard of Segment. Segment were acquired by Twilio in 2020 for a measly $3.2 billion. So really good track record there of, getting some big bickies for customer data platforms. Interestingly, the founders came out of Segment to this company, so promising future ahead for this company. If you look through their website, the value proposition of these customer data platforms are always so slick. I love them. Really clear to understand around what value it brings to the organization, how do you do that, the simplification of doing that, because this is a tricky and complex sort of challenge that companies always face. As they're acquiring SaaS apps across their business and storing customer or user data into those, further adds complexity to sort of unifying who that single person is that you're sort of trying to market or sell to or engage with. Now let's jump across to pricing. Love this pricing model. It's very, very clear. Free, starter, pro, and obviously then the business or the enterprise version. One little gripe though. I don't know what a billable destination is. Can someone from High Touch please comment on what a billable destination is? Is destination where you're storing the data? But then what's billable? I don't know. I'm not sure. Don't have any idea what that is. But regardless, you can get started for free. Starter and Pro aren't that expensive. So clean, clear model. And yeah, be keen to understand a bit more about this one. Next company along is a company called Unstructured. So Unstructured received $25 million in a funding round. Unstructured's platform claims to turn unstructured data into a format that is suitable for large language models, or LLMs, the sort of the modeling underneath AI, or things like ChatGPT. The CEO is from the CIA in the US, so maybe some secret squirrel stuff going on. You can understand where their early customers are coming from. It seems to be a bit around that space. Now, in terms of the technology, LLM architectures is definitely getting out of my depth. If you want to look into that a little bit more, start reading about vector databases, and that is very technical stuff. It almost made me pass out the first time I just started reading it. I'm sure there's a huge market here. If you think about unstructured data and the amount that we have and the models being able to get access to that and the learnings they may be able to do out of that, you can understand the value proposition is really strong here, and that's why they received a great round. Now, looking at Unstructured's website, very simple value proposition, but it obviously is for a technical audience, because everything's sort of like, go into the GitHub, Google Collab, I don't know what that is, or access their API key. This is a technical sale to a technical audience. There's no business language in here at all. No pricing or commercials as well. I'm not sure how they're commercializing this. So if you click on API key, it takes you to this small form, but there's not really any way I can see that I can understand how I would consume this as a business or start to purchase this, I suppose. They are very early in their life, so I'd imagine this is all to come. This is pretty typical. The last one today is a company that received $20 million in a seed round. They've just come out of stealth. Well, the Wing Cloud has just come out of stealth. Wing Cloud is the commercial and operational sort of capability on top of WingLang. WingLang, which is the programming language that Wing have created. And now that is a programming language that sort of unifies the deployment of their programming language across the three main hyperscalers, I think, which is AWS, Azure, and GCP. So if you think about a programmer, gets a program once, deploys on all three of them, or can deploy on all three of them without having to redo that code 3 times. So good value proposition from the WingLang. Wing Cloud is the commercial and operational sort of platform that sits above it, which helps manage and optimize and operate that sort of cloud deployment for you. So looking at Wing Cloud, it's really hard to get a good understanding of actually what that enterprise version or that orchestration or management layer looks like. There's a little bit of information. You got to book a demo. No screenshots. I would have liked to get a bit of a clearer picture of exactly what you get with it. Look, at the end of the day, these guys have just come out of stealth. There's a whole bunch of work to be doing there, and that's what the money's for, right? Anyway, that's it for this week. 5 companies, $255.7 million I'll catch up with you next week where I'll give an update over the last 7 days. Thanks very much.